When Thomas Sankara came and said, we've got to recognize ourselves, and started by changing the name of the country, that was unprecedented. It was only in Ghana that Nkrumah had changed the name of Gold Coast to Ghana. This was new, this was fresh. And Thomas Sankara then was seen in that mold, a servant leader who says, I do not want the trappings of power. I do not want long motorcades. I do not want security that is a mere display of power. I want to serve the people. I don't want to ride in Mercedes-Benz or Bentley or Cadillac. I want something that is functional, something that moves. And when Thomas Sankara appears in 1987 at the OAU meeting in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and calls for our refusal to pay debts, he created a revolutionary fervor in Burkina Faso. And Traore is in that tradition. He was young then, but the stories must have been told to him of Thomas Sankara. And remember, they come out of the same environment, the military environment. They may have been trained after the style of the French, but sometimes you've got to swim in the oceans of the enemy in order to know who they are. So he grew in that environment, and when therefore he comes and says, we are leading, when he comes and says, we are not going to have the trappings of power to prevent us from working for the people, when he comes and says, my salary is not going to be increased, when he comes and says, I'm not going to be summoned to appear in European capitals, when he comes and says that the IMF and the World Bank are not going to dictate to us what to do, when he comes and says that the mineral companies of the West are not going to tell us what to do, we are going to choose our own friends in the international arena, he is speaking for many people in the continent of Africa. And that is why, for the moment, he remains in the minds and hearts of many people. And the prayer of many is that he does not change, because power has its own way of changing and corrupting people. The prayer of many who are watching him is that he remains on course, that he remains faithful to the agenda, that he remains faithful to his declared position that he is a people's servant, that he is a midwife to deliver for the people of Burkina Faso and to ensure that the quality of their lives is improved. For the moment, he is receiving the best judgment that a leader can expect. He can do no wrong in the minds of many. And the media and social media is populated with a lot of artificial intelligence things which are attributed to him. And they are all positive. That is a statement of the hunger that Africans have for positive messaging. It gives hope. It tells them that it can be done and that it must be done. So in the same way, for those who read the Bible, as Moses stood before his people and said, I'm going to part the Red Seas, Traore is expected to part Red Seas, almost to summon manna from heaven, almost to cause pillars of fire to stand between them and the neo-colonizers. The expectations are great.